Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. This is part 10 of the story of Prophet Moses, peace be upon him. If you guessed that the Pharaoh fulfilled his oath, you are correct. If you guessed that he did not, you are also correct. How so? The Pharaoh initially fulfilled his oath and allowed Prophets Moses and Aaron, peace be upon both of them, to take Bani Israel and head toward Palestine. But later the Pharaoh changed his mind and decided to stop the immigration. It was narrated that more than 600,000 from Bani Israel started the migration toward Palestine. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described this scene in the Quran by saying, when we lifted off the calamity for a period, then they changed their mind. What does this mean? It means that after the Pharaoh agreed to let them go and they actually started to immigrate, he went back on his promise and he went back on his word. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala instructed Prophet Moses to start the immigration at night because he will be followed. Bani Israel hurried with whatever they could carry with them and started the immigration at night. The Pharaoh actually regretted his fulfillment of the oath and wondered why he let Bani Israel go. He is losing 600,000 slaves that provided services and labor. This is really what he regretted. So he decided to prepare his army and go after Bani Israel to stop them from immigrating. Preparing the army took a little bit of time, so by the time they caught up to Bani Israel, they were very close to the Red Sea. If you're familiar with the Red Sea, the northern part of it is like a fork. So by the time that they caught up to them, Bani Israel were very close to the West Fork. Bani Israel turned around and saw the Pharaoh and his army approaching and were very scared and said, they will catch up to us. But look at the response from Prophet Moses, peace be upon him. He said, no, they will not. God is with us. He will provide guidance. When someone has faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and fully relies on his guidance, they always face adversities with courage and calm. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, we instructed Moses to strike the sea with his stick. This is one of the most profound moments in the history of humanity. It's one of the most magnificent and wondrous miracles. The Red Sea split in front of Bani Israel. You know the sea is actually very deep, so for it to split into two so people could walk on the seafloor, that means that there will be a very narrow valley between two very tall mountains. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described the scene in the Quran as such by saying that each side of the seawater was like a tall mountain. Not only that, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made the seafloor dry so Bani Israel could cross it safely. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also told Moses not to worry, that the Pharaoh will not catch up to them. Now the Pharaoh and his army also witnessed this scene. They saw the sea splitting. So don't we think that they should also recognize that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has complete command on the universe, and shouldn't they start believing? I mean, now people who don't believe, atheists of today, they say that all these stories that we are sharing here with each other are nothing but fairy tales and they are totally made up fabrications to indoctrinate people. But how about the people, the disbelievers, the Egyptians who were there on the scene, on the spot, and they saw the sea splitting? What is their reasoning for not believing? What is their justification to continue that disbelief? My only explanation, and that's just my opinion, that is that arrogance totally clouds the heart and the mind and the ability to make sound judgment. And another reason is that it's a strong attachment to yield and be enslaved by one's desires. That's the best I can explain it to myself. So Bani Israel started to cross the sea, and the Pharaoh is a little hesitant to follow. So do you think he followed? Inshallah, we discuss that in the next post, inshallah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.